Welcome back, listeners. This is the Hit Pause Podcast. You're here with your hosts. My name's Iman. My co-host's name, his name is...
David. You can
Again,
do it for me.
That pause.
You can do it for me.
That pause. No, I'm going to keep doing it until you get it spot on every time. And this week, we have a brief talk about, what we've been watching on YouTube in the past week.
Talk?
A beef talk. A beef talk about what we've been watching on YouTube, what we've been staking on, the beef.
Okay,
beef
you're
theme.
keeping this going.
Yeah, what we've been chowing down on.
Stop.
And in the past week, we have our picks of the week later on in the episode, and we are also going to be talking about the one and only H3H3 Ethan Klein versus Keemstar of Drama Alert. The drama, the juiciest, the biggest drama that has happened in recent YouTube history that I can remember, right? It's the biggest thing for a while.
I mean, it's better than diss tracks. So yeah, it is bigger. Bigger.
It's pretty. I mean, there's a lot of big names coming into it, but we'll go into that. I've been following it very closely. We'll get into that in a bit, but first of all, let's give a little look at our weeks on the tube. We're not calling it that, are we? No.
Yeah,
our weeks on YouTube. So I mean, first up, our watch times. Which is our traditional way to kick this off. So I actually this week made a big change to my YouTube viewing. I
decided to just stop.
Yeah.
Good.
No, don't be silly. I completely switched over my account. So I have two accounts. There's one that I post videos with, and then there's one that is, with my real name, my real full name. It's linked to my Google account. It's like my personal account. And that's the one that I typically use to watch YouTube. So I'm always a bit kind of hesitant about making comments and things because it's like my real name on there.
You can't leave hate comments with your real name.
Yeah. I really want to leave some real nasty hate comments. And I just can't. So I finally made the call. I've been meaning to for a while, but I finally sat down and switched everything over to my other account. So this basically meant going through the subs list and just like subbing to each one. Well, I mean, that was kind of basically it. Oh, and I also switched over my YouTube Premium to that other account. Yeah, I mean, that was basically it. It wasn't like the worst thing, but I will say that now YouTube, for the time being, I do not have any good recommendations because it doesn't know my tastes.
Yeah, of course.
Because I don't watch using that channel like ever. So it really doesn't know my taste, but it's recommending me loads of stuff that I like, but all stuff I've seen before, because obviously none of my watch time is on there. So all the videos that I've seen and YouTube is now not showing me because I've seen them, it's kind of surfacing again to the front page, which is kind of annoying for the time being, but it'll take time, but it'll get there.
Yeah. Actually, briefly on that note, I just unless you knew already, I kind of found out that Google Play Music is gonna die this year.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, like a lot of articles. Nothing official from Google, although they have said the idea is they're gonna migrate, and they've already added a setting apparently that you can move all your Google Play playlists and whatnot to YouTube Music.
Oh, interesting. Okay, fine. I think we actually, when we've spoken about this before, we've kind of said like, why do you have both? What's the point of having both?
Although I thought they would keep the Play Music, to be honest.
Yeah, except the YouTube one has a benefit in that it has a much wider catalog because there's everything on YouTube.
Yeah, just that ugly interface, in my opinion. I mean, it looks great, but it's not helpful.
I agree with you, and I really hate the way it interacts with your YouTube account. Remember, I was complaining about that, about how all the songs that you kind of like on YouTube Music appear in your likes list on YouTube, which is really annoying for people that actually use that playlist for videos.
Exactly.
Just separate it.
But maybe they'll take the best of both.
We'll see, yeah. But that's quite interesting, quite interesting. So yeah, so on my old account, I had about 12 hours, 45 minutes. And my new account, I have 4 hours and a bit. So we're looking at about 16, 17 hours this week. Not bad.
Wow. I mean, I only have 5.5.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
But I also have your problem. Like I've said this before, but I watch straight off, asking my assistant, my Google assistant, to play a video. So it doesn't count those hours.
Yeah, but I'm the one that said I think it does count those hours.
But I don't think it does.
I think you haven't got your shit linked up properly.
5.5 hours. I don't know. I did better than that. But hey, I'll work on it this week.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. So I mean, this week I've kind of been watching a lot of everything. I have been watching a lot of like the Keemstar versus Ethan stuff. There's been a lot of videos around that. But on the whole, I've been watching a lot of kind of old stuff. So a lot of old Donkey videos we've covered before, some old iDub stuff. Yeah, Donkey's
what
video.
Spurred that?
I don't know. I think I tell you what spurred it actually. Switching over to the new account and it's surfacing all these old videos I've already seen because it thinks I haven't seen them. I kind of been like, yeah, you know what? I kind of want to watch that again actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Donkey's one on the video he did on Minecraft. Man, I don't know if you remember it. He's like pretending to do a Minecraft speedrun. It's so funny.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The way he starts off the video, he goes, "What's up, guys? I'm a Minecraft video now." It's so just like classic Donkey kind of thing to say. It's just so funny, man.
I've never seen anyone do such a good job coming back to something and trying to make it cool. Ironically.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna do something that everyone's been doing for ages.
Yeah. But he just does it. Yeah, he does it in such a way. It's hilarious. Definitely, will link that video in the description. Yeah. What kind of stuff have you been watching on there?
I know I watched the sequel to that JonTron thing. I think it was fine. The sequel to that Kid Nation episode that he did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So actually, there was a bit of news around that. JonTron, he was tweeting about it, but he actually had some issues with the first episode. Basically, he used a little bit of music that he purchased, the rights to use on a website where you can buy like, music clips and stuff. So he had the rights to use this piece of music, yeah. But despite that, a company that supposedly owns the music actually filed a copyright claim. So they actually claimed it, which means they get all the revenue from that video, and JonTron doesn't get any revenue, okay? So John went in and used YouTube's features. They have this feature where they say, this is the offending section of the video, and it's like 3 seconds out of a 25-minute video, which is insane.
Of course it would be, yeah.
Yeah, and they give you these tools even when the video is already up to edit out that offending bit. So John goes, okay, this is ridiculous. I bought this fair and square, but whatever. I'm just gonna remove that clip, that little bit. So he does that, and YouTube still says you need to. There is an offending piece of music in your video, and it's been copyright claimed. It still says that. So it even shows on the bar. It's like highlighted a little section that says, this is where the music is. But the thing is, John has already edited that out. So when you hit play and watch it, there is no music. There's no music.
Still stands,
and the takedown still stands. Yeah, which is just completely absurd. So he was really ranting on YouTube about this and atting them, and it was it's frankly a mess. It's like they give these tools to support copyright stuff, but then the tools don't work.
Well, because
and imagine
the intern is on holiday. It's just not easy.
Maybe that's it. But yeah, it's just like
That's so
he's
unfortunate.
missing all that money from this video. He doesn't post a whole lot. Like he relies.
Yeah,
on
he's
that
not
for
everyday
money.
bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. Should we jump straight into H3 versus Keemstar?
Yeah. I got a scandal afterwards, but we can go into this one first.
Okay, so
that's what the people want. That's what they're here for.
We'll try and not spend too long in this because we don't really have anything new to talk about. But I can basically summarize, what's gone down. So H3 and Ethan Klein of H3 and Keemstar of Drama Alert, they've had a pretty long feud or rivalry. It's never really been serious though. It's always just been like taking the piss and arguing on Twitter, like pointlessly. But then recently there's been like a bit more kind of friction between them because Keemstar like about a month ago made a video basically saying Ethan like fraudulently claimed money for this DLC pack that he sold for Payday 2. So Ethan was definitely pissed off about that, but despite that, there was some pretty bad stuff about Keemstar to be brought up, and Ethan made like a 45-minute video talking about it. Keemstar came back with a response. Ethan came back with a response to that. Keemstar came out with a second response video. And then on top...
I actually haven't seen that last response.
Oh, have you not? Yeah. No. And on top of that, there's also been a number of channels that have come out. So one of them was this channel called Yo Mama, who has like 5.5 mil subs. They're just like a joke comedy channel, and came out with this stuff about Keemstar's links to alt-right and like racists and stuff. Also, yeah. Deji made a video. Deji is in brother of KSI, because Deji had been targeted by some fraud or bad. Unfounded claims by Keemstar that Deji had like been buying subscribers from a website.
Oh yeah, I saw that actually. Yeah. I was thinking who they're referring to.
Yeah. And on top of that, there was one more channel that I saw that came out about this, and it was he used to be called Brit Bong Returns, but now he's called Mr. BTFO, and he had to change his name because he got so much harassment from Keemstar and from Keemstar's fan base online that he had to change his whole online persona and
just to get his career going again.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Which is just terrible, but yeah, I mean, overall, it kind of amounts to Ethan giving a bunch of examples and evidence that Keemstar is A, a horrible person, and B, a terrible newscaster, news channel.
But then that's the thing. I don't know what an average Keemstar fan is. Where's his backing come from?
Yeah.
Why has he, 5 million subs and ongoing with views? Like, I get it. Yeah, he reports drama. People have that flock towards it. But the people that are like, oh, yeah, he's my source. He's my source.
Yeah,
I don't get that person.
Can we just talk for a second about Keemstar's thumbnails? Have you been on his channel?
I actually haven't.
Go have a look at the Drama Alert channel, like right now. Anyone listening, just go and type Drama Alert into YouTube, okay?
What would I expect to see?
So he's got 5.5 mil subs here, and look at these thumbnails. They are so budget. They are so terrible. There's all this just like capitals and arrows that are like not even well done. It's so strange. They're just so budget. It's like a 5-year-old just made a YouTube channel and this is their idea of thumbnails. It's just like,
and even if he's not the one doing it, how not having an eye for it to tell your editor, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's his channel. These are his thumbnails, whether or not he physically made them himself or not. It's just, God, it's just bizarre. So bad. But I guess like he's going for a style and like it's supposed to be approachable, or whatever. But it's just, I hate it. I just hate it.
I don't know. I've just never thought to check a Keemstar video for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's just because he's the first one to it. I'm trying to find a reason why he's gotten this far. But hey, it's news, right?
So he basically thrives on news. Is a definite like stretch of the imagination, because he'll basically report on anything that's even a little bit, drama-y, and doesn't really need any evidence, doesn't really care, and just, it's just complete, and it's just such weak, poorly done stuff. It's terrible.
But with every controversy, you know what I always say? Man, just give me that job. Give me a 2-month program. I will turn Keemstar into a beloved YouTuber. Trust me.
I don't think you could do that.
I can fix it. He is
okay. So in his response videos, he like barely even defends himself. He barely even says, here's why I'm not a bad person, why I didn't do these things. He just spends like the vast majority of his videos talking about how Ethan's a bad person. So it's like, instead of, hey, you know what?
It's not a rebuttal in any way.
Yeah, it's like, hey, instead of, hey, yeah, I heard his points. Here's why this is untrue. Here's why this is inaccurate. Here's why
here's more
I'm
context
a good person.
on why I said this.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if I'm a bad person, sure. Ethan's a terrible person. If I'm a bad person, he's a bad person as well. He's a bad person. It's just like shifting focus. It just makes him look so bad. It just doesn't do himself any favors.
It's schoolyard fighting.
It is, yeah. And it's like, that's fine if it's just a petty, feud or petty.
But we're talking about like YouTube deaths and YouTube accusations that cause careers to fall apart.
Yeah, it's like it's serious. It's serious stuff. It's not kidding around.
On the good side, I'm happy that I haven't checked much of his channel, but the RS Glory and Gold, that finally he's got some support. He's got some eyes on him as well, not just because he was trending, but the fact that it's taken a bigger voice to kind of clear his name a bit more than it was before. Yeah.
So Glory and Gold's basically this 65-year-old guy who plays RuneScape on stream and does some YouTube. And at one point, Keemstar said he was a pedophile because he looked somewhat similar to a picture of a pedophile he found in the news. Okay, it was like, that is all the evidence that amounted to it. And this guy ended up getting tons of hate mail, death threats, just had a real, lot of negativity coming at him online. And he was completely innocent. So, I don't know, it's just... Even in his second follow-up video, Keemstar talks about him, but he also, he also kind of implies that he is actually a pedophile. Like he goes into things like,
won't let it go.
Well, didn't you have a fan that was underage one time? And
don't you have a nephew who's under 16?
And it's like, he's so crazy. It's like his idea of defending himself is calling this old dude or implying that this old dude is a pedophile again. It's like, dude, are you? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. But we'll never understand Keemstar. But the evidence you can find online does not support him, whether or not you're a fan of his or not. But there's one particular clip in H3's that was just perfect. He didn't have to say anything. It was just a simple thing where what's his name? Is it FaZe, the guy who has a problem with Jake Paul, or used to, Alyssa Violet's boyfriend. But anyway, there was a scene where he was talking to him about Fuzi and saying, dude, he has mental issues. Don't you think that that's the reason, not because he's trying to make a publicity stunt? He kept driving it at him, and Keemstar would not listen. It was said it all. His close friends were telling him.
It's for the views. And they're like, dude, just step back. Just slow down 1 minute. Yeah. This guy's going through
and
a
he
mental
put it in
episode.
his own video and uploaded it as well.
Yeah, man, such a douchebag. Anyway, I guess that wraps us up on that piece of drama. What drama were you going to raise, David?
So my one's completely on a different level, but it was a brief one about a podcast channel called Call Her Daddy, and it's basically just two girls, Alex and Sophia, I think. They just, they just talk about the stuff that gets views, like, sex and like relationships and whatnot. But the way they do it is pretty like raw, and I can see why it's gone places. So they started off, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years ago or a bit longer. But 2.5 years ago, Barstools, which is just like any company, can take up a podcast and like give them a bigger platform, spread them out, and like, test it. And then it went super successful. But on that contract, apparently they weren't like getting too much money. And as every YouTuber knows, like especially down the line, you kind of regret the contracts you signed when you were nobody. So that's what's happened to these two. Yeah. But out of all the like bad like maker studios and all these other companies that endorse these YouTubers, like this one, Barstools, has like maybe the best charismatic CEO or the nicest. He is actually the nicest with all that he's offered. He's made it public. So after they started like saying, hey, we kind of want to get out of this contract or we want a lot more money, he's offering them like, okay, you want this IP back. It's a 3-year contract. We're not just going to give it back to you because you want to. How about, we'll give you after the 3 years, and until then, we'll give you, maybe 500K each a year. Like good offers. Sure, maybe that's a lot of money to us, and to them it's like, oh, we're worth more than 500,000 a year. But he's pushing it down their throats, and they're still turning it down. And to a point that they, as a group, like me and you, they kind of gotten angry at each other because they think they can push and get higher amounts of money, where one of the two, Alex, just wants to, just accept the offer and move on. But the reason why I like this controversy a lot is normally we're attacking the big guys, ruining the YouTuber's career, or in this case, podcast hosts, because they're the talent. But they've done nothing wrong. It's just people who have gotten too big for their boots. So it is kind of sad that, they're kind of making, when YouTubers get this look of being unprofessional and kind of immature, don't know how to be business owners and whatnot. And here is an example. It's like they're not helping. Sometimes a contract is a contract, is basically what I'm trying to say. You gotta live to it, whether or not you made that decision in the right frame of mind at the time. Yeah,
and by the sounds of it, it is a pretty fair contract. Maybe they think they should get more, but it's not like one of these ones where there's some contracts that came out for like maker studios and even machinima, I think, back in the day, that they were literally unlawful contracts. It was things like, we own everything you make forever, and you can't do that in a contract, but this seems like it's pretty above board. They just don't seem to agree with the amounts. I mean,
money be a problem at this time of year. But I will update in future podcasts how it turns around, because they are the two of them which make the talent. They're now turning on each other, which is like great, even worse.
All right, so shall we go into our picks of the week? What have you got for your pick of the week, David?
So I went down a nostalgia trip this week, which also adds to how on earth did I do 5.5 hours. But I've been watching old Terminator movies. Well, they are old, but how
many Terminator movies are there total?
There are 6 now. There are 6. And there's a TV show that I did watch as well. Oh, wow. But it's an old TV show that got cut because it was just so terrible. So yeah, having done that, and like we watched The Matrix like some weeks ago or months, so it just kind of made me start to wonder like old stuff and see what's rewatchable. And then it reminded me I had a nostalgia trip about a nostalgia YouTube channel. It was a channel I used to watch ages ago. It's now called Channel Awesome, but it used to be Nostalgia Critic.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, they started a long time. They started with a website once upon a time.
Okay.
I think it was That Guy with Glasses was the name of the website, but eventually evolved into more than just, jokes online. But yeah, so summary of what they do, I don't even know how many subs they have, probably like three, something like that. They're not too big. They're just like well known over the years, and they basically go and look at old movies and like from sorts like all crazy varieties. So you can go like The Mask, Underworld, Disney movies like Kim Possible or Tom and Jerry, and they kind of just break it up in kind of like in a John Tron kind of way with so many skits. They might even go above John Tron when it comes to skits and sketches just to prove a point as they story tell their critique on the movie. And it's something I think you would like. I'm sure you have seen them at least once. So I'll put a couple of their best ones in the description. But I do like how they review and critique movies. I think they have a real unique talent, and it was good to just check up stuff, especially on movies I've watched like The Matrix, RoboCop, Blade 2, all these old classics. They go as far as like talking about the producers, the awards they won, their decision making, like, just beyond the movie, which is really good as well.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, like it's definitely my kind of vibe. It's also a similar vibe to what I've been on this week.
Yeah. Long form of content is really good as well.
Nice. I like it. Well, so when you say long, like how long are these videos?
So the channel has loads more besides the nostalgia critic stuff, but those ones are like 12 to 20 minutes on a movie, which is pretty good.
Okay.
And like obviously they've gone through their whole copyright claim stuff because they show bits of the movie to elaborate it, but you can tell the ratio, like all that makes that 20 minutes is loads of sketches, loads of like storytelling in that sense.
Okay, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, so the one I've been watching a lot of this week is similar. So the channel is called Screen Rant, and they're pretty big. I think a couple mil subs, and they have a series called Pitch Meeting. So there's like over 100 episodes in this series, and it's just a sketch. It's just a sketch of a writer pitching a script to a movie producer. And it's always like the movie producer, loves it, even though the ideas he pitches are really terrible. And it's done for actual movies. So some of the good ones I've seen were like Matrix Reloaded, the Star Wars ones, especially for the new movies. Rise of Skywalker was so good. And there's all these. They're absolutely hilarious. They're so well done. He plays both parts, so it's just switching the camera back and forth between the writer and the producer, and they have all these sayings and all these catchphrases, which after you just watch a couple, like you just keep picking up on it, and it's so hilarious. Like for example, one of them is actually it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. So for example, when they're talking about the second Matrix movie, he's like, wow, Agent Smith was a great bad guy in the first movie. It'll be hard to top that. Actually, it'll be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. We're just going to have hundreds of Agent Smiths. More than one. That's more than one. It's going to be
Is this
better.
all in a boardroom meeting? Where's the setting?
Yeah,
of
it's
the
set in
location?
like an office.
Nice.
Yeah, with like a green screen background. Another one is like the producer was going, wow, 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 wow. He just says so bad. And then there's a big explosion. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, there's a good few of them. They also did this 100th episode special where they did pitch meeting sketch.
Oh, I was going to say, you have to do that.
Yeah, which was genuinely hilarious as well. I'm going to link that one and a couple of others, but they are well worth a watch. Really, really good little sketches.
I really love that idea of the ending. It's like Cinema Sins, where they did everything wrong with Cinema Sins.
Yeah.
Itself.
It is actually a similar kind of vibe in general to Cinema Sins. Like they point out inconsistencies in the movie and just stupid stuff that happens or gets said. And but yeah, really, really hilarious.
No, yeah, definitely gonna check it because it kind of ties in with the last episode with you know, what was it again? With Now You See It. Like I know we're on this whole run of movies, aren't we?
Yeah, we
I don't
kind
know
of
what
are
it is.
actually. Yeah, we didn't plan this theme, but it's just the way it's gone.
And, for that reason, I'm gonna add another video, completely random, in the description as well. It's my new thing. It's Dirt Rally 2 is a video game on rally racing, and there's a professional British racer. I can't remember her name. I think it's Louise Cook, and she plays the game with 3 screens and a setup driving wheel, and like the ones in the arcade where you have you actually sit inside, and it's in a room, and she does it in like amazing time. It's just so satisfying to see.
That's cool.
That's taking a game that seriously.
I gotta check that out. No, I think that about wraps us up for episode number 87. Thank you all for listening. Yeah. We will be back next Tuesday. Sub to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, anywhere you get your podcasts. Email us. What's our email address, David?
hitpausepodcast@gmail.com.
That's the one. Thank you all for listening. See you next time.
See ya.